what happens when we watch a lot of documentaries, we kind of have a perception of the director's vision either through a voiceover or direct interviews.
Mm.
And that's kind of an entrance into the story and into whatever the
Mm.
person is showing, and that obviously didn't happen over here. And I mean, I personally see a little bit of a drama between the guy who's making the film and what's happening in front and whoever the people are.
Mm.
So that was kind of ambiguous over here. And what happens is throughout this film, there were a lot of moments when, uh, I mean, I don't know, I felt a little uncomfortable because there were scenes where you kind of go into a very personal zone where they're either in their bedroom or
Mm.
there's that braiding hair, as you mentioned. These are
Mm.
very personal moments that you don't really show on camera, and not many people are kind of ready to show that to a lot of people.
Mm.
So I just want to kind of know what that relationship between you and the people were, and they were, and between you and them were.
Mm.
So and how that kind of worked out while making the film. And also another question: the still shots, the long still shots, was that a choice you made, or was that purely aesthetic?
Uh, I like Osu very much, and he uses a lot of still objects in his film, and I wanted to use it. I wanted to see how it worked. So yeah, that question. But the second question is that um yeah, over time, I mean, I have known the family for quite long, and I used to also visit them in their uh, village home. I attended their daughter's wedding, etc. So there already was a relationship between us. During the shooting, uh, initially it was a little difficult, and I think it was because we were very nervous. It was for us the first, I would say, the first couple of days of shooting were difficult for both Lutz and the sound recorders. It was their very first time in the desert, and we were shooting in October, and the temperatures were like 46 degrees Celsius, and and that first bit, it happens only once, right? I mean, the other work processes are repetitive, so you have a chance to shoot something again. But the first, so I think we were very nervous. We were very afraid to miss something, which is, I think, every documentary filmmaker feels like, oh, if they're not shooting something, it's gone forever because, of course, it's happening once. Um, and so we were really also far too close to them, into their face. And we also tended to move, although the camera was on a tripod, we tended to move the tripod a lot. And that made them very nervous. And when we saw the footage at the end of the day, it was rubbish, really. And we thought, okay, this is just not going to work like this. And so we had a chat, and then we decided that we would, basically stay in one place, just patiently wait for something to happen. And so we would just put the tripod on the camera, and then when something happened, Lutz would push the on button, maybe he would adjust the frame a little bit, and then we would leave it like that. So that helped us, get into their rhythm, and it made them much more comfortable. Then there were also physical boundaries I never crossed. Like I really never went ever that close into their face. I never stepped into the salt pan when they were working. So those were self-imposed boundaries that I observed very carefully through the whole shoot. Um, and then they were completely okay with us shooting, for example, the scene in the bedroom. It's a small tiny hut. I mean, it's not like they are not aware that we are shooting, but they were completely comfortable with us shooting it, or the kids when they are playing or whatever it is. So I think that was through this whole process that emerged.